If you could just tell me a little bit about, have you had science taught this way before?
Yeah.
And what do you think?
I thought, like, how was it?
Yeah.
It was fun because then you do like all kinds of experiments on it. So like then you can like you learn stuff and then you also do fun experiments on it.
And you feel better about learning science that way?
Yeah.
How come?
Because then you actually get to see it happen instead of just like reading from a book and seeing how it's done. So then you get to see how it's done.
Good. Have you learned science different ways?
Yeah.
And what do you think about learning science ways that are not like this?
It's sort of harder because you don't get to see how it happens. You just have to like imagine it.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes hard.
Good. Just tell us a little bit about how, have you learned science this way before?
No.
No. So what do you think now after doing this today?
That's kind of fun. It's better than like reading out of a textbook. And like, yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because the textbook's like really specific, and then you can like see it for yourself. Yes.
Doing it this way? Is there anything else you think that would be better about learning science this way?
Not really.
Okay. And now that you've seen it happen today, are you looking forward to learning more science this way? All right. Thank you. Have you learned science like this before, Will?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about learning science this way?
It's fun.
Why is that?
Because it's better when you talk about it than just writing in a notebook.
You like the talking about it part?
Yeah.
Okay. You think that helps you learn it better?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because you can talk about it and then that conversation's in your brain.
Huh. I like that. How about the experiment part of it?
Well, the experiment was fun because you got to see it happen and see the problems and try to fix those problems.
Okay. So when you don't get a chance to talk about it and do experiments, is it harder for you to learn science?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because then you don't understand what happens if you don't do it right.
Good, I like that. Thanks, Will.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about learning science this way. What do you think?
I like it because we get to like interact a lot. Yeah, we can like you can do whatever. You can try it out instead of doing it on paper and looking at it. Yeah, and like actually get to do it textbooks, so you understand it more.
This is better than looking at things in textbooks and not being able to do things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's better because you can get your hands on it and like actually understand what's going on.
That helps you learn it better?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Anything else you like about it?
It's funner. Yeah,
Why is that?
Because we don't have to sit there and don't have to read.
Do you like to be able to sort of argue with other people?
Yeah, it's kind of that gives you an excuse to argue. Yeah.
Do you ever feel when you're arguing that people are picking on you, or just feel that that's part of science?
No, it just feels it's you're learning as you do it, so it's not a bad thing.
There you
It's
go.
like proving a point. Yeah.
Anything else you like about learning this way?
Not really. Sometimes we get to go outside during the middle of class.
You like that? That you get to go outside? That sounds good. Thank you, ladies. Okay, guys, tell me a little bit. You guys have never really learned science this way?
No.
Until today.
Yeah.
So tell me what you think about learning science this way versus the way you've learned it before.
I like this way better.
Do you?
It's
What?
kind of harder.
Okay. Go one at a time. Let's start here. What you like it better because why?
Because it's more challenging and like you get to do like more harder science.
Why you think it's more challenging? Why?
Because some of the things you have to really think about and it's kind of hard.
And the way you've learned science before, you don't feel like you always have to really think about it? Like when you learned science before, you didn't feel like you didn't have to think about it quite as much?
No.
Oh, okay. Who's next?
Okay.
Okay. You said it was kind of hard. Why is that?
Because there's lots of answers there's lots of questions to answer.
Yeah? And there's not just one answer to every question?
No, there's a few.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's harder science and
But do you think you learn the science better when you do it this way? Do
I
you?
learn the science better because gets harder, and the harder it gets, the more you start.
You're getting some help there.
Laughing.
That's all right.
The more you start.
The more you have to think about it? That's okay. So, even though it's harder, you think you learn more?
Yes.
Okay, I like that. You're next, ma'am. What do you think?
It's a lot. It's it's easier when it's easier at our school because it's not as hard. Because you have to do the gravity and stuff like that.
So it was easier at your school than it was today?
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to think about as much stuff? Did you like doing it this way better or not?
Yeah. It was kind of yeah.
How come?
Because it gets you a little bit better, and so you can actually kind of think about it, so you know what stuff is later on.
That's good. Thank you very much. Now you guys have you've learned science this way before, right?
Yeah.
Have you? And what do you think about learning science this way?
It's pretty fun.
Is it?
Yeah, you're not just sitting there reading books the entire time.
So you like that you're a little more active?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that you learn the science better?
Yeah.
Because you want to listen more. Sometimes if you just have to sit and listen all the time, then it's really boring.
But if you've run the experiment and it's your data and then you want to listen a little bit more to it?
Yeah, you want to do it over and over.
If you guys could tell people who are going to be teachers anything you wanted about what they should know before they go out and try to teach science to elementary students, what would you tell them? What do you want them to know?
Pick fun experiments for the kids and like games and stuff, because then they'll want to learn more about it.
So you want active experiments that are enjoyable?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Anything else that you like doing with the science?
You don't have to do it all by yourself.
You like
to help do it with other people.
working in groups, doing, yeah, it's good. How about the discussion, negotiation? Do you like doing that? Talking to each other about it?
Yeah.
That's enjoyable? That's good. Thank you guys. You guys have definitely learned science this way before, right? Yes. So what do you think about learning science this way?
It's fun. It's fun. It makes it exciting.
Okay, why?
Because you're out of school, you're doing different things, you're not trapped in a seat, then you're doing experiments, and then he lets us choose the experiment. And you're not sitting here going,
So you have a little choice.
yes,
It's a little more exciting.
yes.
You get to do experiments.
And you get to talk to other people and around you.
You get to do a little discussion, and somebody used an N word earlier. What was that word?
Negotiation.
Negotiation. You like that negotiation stuff?
Yeah. Negotiation. I like it because number one, usually I win. Number two, I just like arguing.
That's good. So you enjoy the arguing part of it. Is there anything else about learning science that you think is important about the way you learn science?
Like with Mr. Kewen, he actually makes it what it would actually be, not just like regular stuff.
What do you mean? What's regular stuff? What's regular?
Just reading a book.
Like you're reading a book, and you're just reading a book, and you're not just sitting.
You're not really learning anything.
Because when you just read books, it's basically the book telling you
Yeah.
what it is. But like when you're doing experiments,
We have to tell ourselves.
You're telling yourself instead of the book's telling you.
Excellent.
Because when the teacher tells you the answer,
Yeah.
it isn't very you don't necessarily learn it. You more of get told it.
Right.
Like mom tells you to do dishes, you have to do 2 dishes. It's not you learning anything. And you get a choice.
You like having a choice?
Yeah.
Think that helps you learn it better
Yes.
when you have a choice? Good. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that information.
Alright, I just wanted to show you guys kind of my thoughts, how I get together to plan. I think one of the misconceptions of the SWH approach is that there isn't a whole lot of planning before you go into getting the kids to elicit those big ideas, but there really is some thought process behind it before you go in that first day. I think it's important to first look at either the Iowa core standards or national standards or your district standards, but some sort of standards that are guiding you, because you can't just go in and start activities just because you think they're fun or you think they're good ideas. There has to be some sort of guidance behind standards or benchmarks. So I took a look at the Iowa core, and for the activity that we're going to be doing, we went under the force. It's under the physical science, and forces are related to an object's motion, and a subset of that is change in motion is caused by forces. So that's what's kind of driving our big idea and our activities. I wrote the big idea up here. Our big idea that I want to get the kids to is force is a push or pull that causes motion. And then I made my own concept map, and it serves a couple purposes. First, it allows me to kind of get my thoughts of what I understand of this idea, this concept. So I just kind of put my thoughts out here, and I put motion in the middle because that's kind of our driving thing behind this whole entire activity is motion and where motion comes from. And you'll see I have, off of motion, I have force, and I have a few little linking words here going from bubble to bubble. And when I make this, I don't get too caught up on semantics and making sure everything is right, because I have motion causes force. Well, that should probably be opposite, but as long as it makes sense in my mind and I know that force causes motion, that's the more important thing. Don't get too hung up on every single little linking word being exactly right, reading it from left to right. That's not really that important, but I think linking words are important because it helps you get a better understanding of what's going on here. And I have kind of the things that we're going to be looking at in this activity that we're going to do with the children is we're going to look at Newton's 3 laws. I have them written here. And I also want to get into the concept of friction and gravity, and more specifically air friction. And later on, we'll see how those all relate to each other. They're not perfectly linked up right now at this point because this is just kind of our initial thoughts. You can also see here we have a couple different bubbles that are in orange, and these represent the activities we're going to use. The first one that we're going to do when we start out is I have a small air gun with a little Nerf rocket on it, and I'm just going to squeeze it, and I'm going to ask them this question: why did the Nerf rocket move? And I'm going to do a couple little demonstrations where I'll squeeze it very lightly, and I'll squeeze it really hard, and that will hopefully make the rocket move farther or shorter distances. And that's going to be our initial activity for then the children to make their own concept map. But this is going to be kind of like the activity to elicit those ideas for the children. And I think it's a good idea to put those on there so you can kind of think it through in your mind how that's going to work. And then that's going to lead into our big activity of the paper rocket that's going to go on the PVC pipe shooter. And one thing that I'm going to do, because I do want to relate in air friction and how that is a force and how that is going to later on relate into these 3 laws, I'm going to make my own rocket, and I'm going to tape on a flat index card on the top, and that should hopefully make that one travel a lesser distance than the children's rocket. So I have that here, knowing in my mind that I want to make sure that that one travels less, so that's going to raise some questions for the kids, and then we'll later on link these back in. So those are this is what my planning looks like. It's not just a step 1, step 2, step 3, it's more of a big picture of how this is all going to be related. Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started out with an activity, and what I want you guys to do is I want you to write down every thought that comes in your head after you watch this. Now here I have a Nerf rocket gun, and I just want you to observe, okay? Okay, you guys want to see that again? Okay. Show you one more time. Okay, here. Put this on top. Okay. what I would like you to do on your paper, I'd like you to do a couple things. First, I just want you to think of any words that come into your head that lets me know your ideas of what just happened there, okay? It doesn't even have to be in complete sentences at this point. It can just be any words that come into your mind that think of what just explain to me what just happened there, your thoughts on it. Then, after you get a couple of those words down, I'd like you to put it in a concept map. You guys know what concept maps are, right? Okay? Think of like a big thought that kind of sums the whole thing together of what just happened there. Put that in the middle and then make your concept map off of that. And then I'd also like you to write down any other questions you have of what just happened here, because you might still have some questions about what happened, okay? I'm going to give you about 3 to 5 minutes of you just doing that by yourself, writing, making that concept map, writing questions. Then I'm going to have you get with a partner and talk about it, and then I'm going to have you get in small groups, okay? So go ahead, you have this time just to write yourself. So you think that's something to do with the air? What does the air do that makes the rocket move? Okay. Okay. All right, you guys are doing great. Why don't you do this? Why don't you get with a partner now? You guys can just be a group of 3. Everybody else just get with another person. If you need to move over, like if Jacob, if you want to come over here and talk to Caden, that's fine. So yeah, you guys are a group of 3 as well. You guys can be, all right, you can go over there with Libby, that's fine. I want you just to talk in a group together and just kind of discuss what you wrote down, share your information, maybe talk a little bit about some different opinions you have. Just go ahead and have a little conversation right now.
I thought it was a knife guard, so I put that down. I thought it was shooting like a pistol. Kind of slow, but it was also kind of fast. Then the guy had pulled it down, but it was long range first. I thought it could be dangerous. And then I thought the pressure of the air was pushing the gun away, and I thought it wasn't very frequent.
Okay.
So what'd you guys write about?
I put how when you push on the handle, the air like builds up, and then it has to let out, so shoots.
So there's something with pushing involved.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think's doing the pushing? The handle. And what's in the handle that pushes the rocket, or do you think that pushes the rocket?
It pushes the rocket.
Here, do you want to take a look at it? Yep. Careful where you're aiming. Go ahead, you can squeeze it.
So there's air inside the handle, and then when you squeeze it, it shoots.
Okay. So what shoots? What do you think shoots then?
The air.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right. All right, what I want you guys to do now, if you moved, I think Jacob, you moved, come back over here in your little original groups. As a small group, I want you to take a little bit of this butcher paper, and I want you to make a group concept map, kind of try to come together at a consensus of what you think happens. And we're going to post these here in just a little bit. There are some markers over there. If you get one person from your group to go over there and grab maybe a couple colors. Also, please, if you have questions, let's go ahead and write those questions on here as well. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. What are you guys going to put in the middle? Okay. Go ahead. All right. What's causing that rocket to move? Okay. Go ahead.
Pressurized air. Air, pressure, maybe. I think it's pressurized air.
Let me ask you this question. Air is causing that rocket to move, you guys claim. I'm breathing air right now. I'm not getting knocked over. I'm not getting moved around. Yes.